Hey, what's up guys? So we're going to be talking about Gladiator beasts today in a new segment I'm doing called Is This Deck Good? And we're going to be talking about several sections and it can determine if you want to be playing this deck or not. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the sections. So I feel like Glads is a great deck in the beginning of a new format because everything isn't defined yet. And after the format is kind of defined, I feel like Gladiator beasts lose the speed or the edge they really have, because once everyone doesn't know what they want to play, Glads kind of feel really good because everything is kind of slow because no one knows what they want to play yet. But once everyone determines what they want to play, I feel like Glads lose their speed again. And so first off, let's talk about how expensive the deck is. Now, I think Glads is a great deck and everything got reprinted in the raw yellow pack as well as Legendary Collection too. And so I feel like it is a relatively inexpensive deck to make. So if you are a budget player, this is a deck that is relatively inexpensive to make. And next up, I want to talk about going first. Going first in a deck like this is very important because after your opponent already sets a Solemn Warning, you can't get your Gladiator Beast out on the field. Therefore, you cannot use this card War Trait, which is a conjunctional card that requires a Gladiator Beast on the field. And I really feel like going first is really good in this deck. Next up, difficulty. And I would say this deck is kind of difficult to play because everything you do can determine your win condition. Because if your opponent has a Torrential set and you already have Glad Beast on the field and you summon another Gladiator Beast and they go Torrential Tribute, if you have no response to that, you generally will lose. And it's very difficult for a Glad player to come back after being punished for a play that wasn't very good. A deck, for example, like Lightsworn, you can make the most reckless plays and still win just because you have really good top decks. And as well as you have a whole bunch of great other options for you in your hand, because you could just summon another Judgment Dragon. Whereas a Gladiator Beast, once they've summoned, if you negate their summon, other than Monster Reborn, they're pretty much not going to be able to summon another monster. And they're going to have conjunctional cards like Gladiator Beast War Trait that won't be able to be live because, unfortunately, you've negated their summon. So that is something to factor in. The deck is kind of difficult to play. You really have to understand the deck, and you have to understand the mechanics. So I playtest this deck a lot before actually going to a tournament with it, because you have to know every single thing about this deck. So it is kind of a difficult deck to play. Next section I'm going to talk about, can it top? Gladiator Beast can top, however it is going to be very difficult to do in the end or the middle of a format. I feel like in the very beginning of the format, Glads are very good and they're very strong, just because, again, the meta isn't defined, and you know, they can kind of work off of everyone just, you know, kind of testing out what they want to play or what's good. And I think Glads can be very successful at that. Next section I want to talk about is top decking. And I don't feel Glads is a deck that can top deck. The only way you can really win by top decking is if both players are top decking and you draw Gladiator Beast. You can, you know, get out your bigger beater. You can get out your War Trait to negate their effects. And this is a deck that has a really good matchup against Infernities, I would say. But yeah, top decking Glads is very difficult. After your opponent has a field, this deck cannot really top deck at all, because you can summon a Glad and then trying to get the attack through is kind of difficult because all the Glads, you know, the highest one being 1800 that you can just, you know, summon straight up. It's just very difficult to make a play after your opponent has a field and you have 0 cards in hand and you're top decking a monster. So I would say it is very difficult to top deck in this deck. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this segment, as well as what other decks you want me to cover. Maybe that you think that there's another section I should add to this. Right now I'm covering if the deck is expensive, how good is going first in the deck, the difficulty, and can it top deck, as well as just some other tips on the deck. And I would say that this deck is really good. Again, it's just one of those decks where it has to go first in order for it to be successful against some of the meta at the moment, and it's just too slow right now. So I feel like if you're looking for a deck, Gladiator Beast will not be a deck that I would personally recommend to just jump right into at the moment, because at the moment the meta is too fast. So possibly once everything gets hit by the September ban list, you guys can check out Gladiator Beast, because at the beginning of a lot of formats, Gladiator Beast will always be good, just because, again, the meta isn't defined yet. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this segment, and let me know what decks you want me to cover, as well as any other sections you think that'd be good to talk about in this new segment I'm doing. But thanks for watching. Asian Eyes White Dragon, signing out.